Sometimes the most compelling mysteries are within our own families.
Cristina Mendonsa joins us for a special Memorial Day story of one family's mystery solved and hundreds of lives impacted by their curiosity and perseverance.
Yes, a few months ago, a volcano near Papua New Guinea erupted. It pummeled villages on a remote island, and it interrupted the work of U.S. Army divers. Those divers were there to recover an aircraft called Heaven Can Wait. They were led there by the efforts of a local family and dozens of volunteers determined to find out what happened to Lieutenant Thomas Kelly of Livermore and the rest of the crew of that B-24 bomber on a rainy March day in 1944.
Madame Curry was playing at the theater on base, and someone had just delivered ice cream to the mess hall. But Lieutenant Thomas Kelly had a mission on this day. Over the skies of Papua New Guinea, Lieutenant Kelly and his crew were aboard the B-24 Heaven Can Wait. The lieutenant in his bombardier position at the front of the aircraft.
Loved it. That was their rush. And they didn't get to do it all the time.
The weather was windy and rainy that day, but Lieutenant Kelly was exactly where he wanted to be. The farm boy from Livermore, who once listed his hobbies as blondes, brunettes, and redheads, was fiercely proud of how he was serving and had thoughts of becoming a pilot when the war was over.
Very much patriotism, very much this is what I do for my country.
Diane Christie of Folsom only recently got to know her uncle.
There was so much pain. He was rarely talked about. Sorry. But my mom could never listen to I'll Be Home for Christmas without crying because he never came back home.
Anti-aircraft fire ended that dream, taking Heaven Can Wait into the ocean and launching a mystery about Lieutenant Kelly's death that his descendants would take on 70 years later.
For me, it started as an interesting puzzle. How much could we find about the circumstances of this crash?
Diane's cousin, Scott Althouse, was the first to become curious. A professor and researcher from Illinois, he drafted the family into the project.
Then when he said he wanted us to go to Memphis to do research because he had all this information he had to gather, we were like, what does it all mean? Like, we had no idea how he was going to put this all together.
It was really just getting tapped into this network of incredibly gracious strangers all around the world who helped us fill out the pieces, told us where to look for the next steps.
When Scott presented his findings to Project Recover, they agreed to take the case. This nonprofit dedicated to finding American MIAs traveled to New Guinea and, using the family's research, spent weeks looking for the crash site.
When we heard they were going out to Hanta Bay, we were confident that if they couldn't find the plane, it couldn't be found.
After 2 weeks of diving and searching, the final resting place of Heaven Can Wait revealed itself.
All right, here we come in, guys. Just the gun. All right, see your part. Show the right. Sweet.
Emotions just came pouring out. I sobbed, I cried, I talked to my sister, and she's sobbing and crying.
The family now hopes that the federal agency that oversees POW and MIA recoveries will prioritize Lieutenant Kelly's case because the portion of the wreck found may encapsulate his body.
We've connected with 7 other families from the crew.
One family's research may fill holes in the lives of 7 families and answer questions that for generations went unanswered when lives were interrupted and families changed by war.
The purpose of Memorial Day is to stop and remember and to learn something about somebody who died in the war, and to carry that memory forward, I think, is a way that all of us can honor those who've gone before, who don't get to experience the futures that we get to inhabit because they gave everything.
They bring them home. We'll be there. Wherever it is, wherever they bring them to, our family will be there.
Those were 11 individuals lost on March 11th, 1944.
Since Heaven Can Wait was discovered, the families of the crew members have had one reunion, and they plan on having more. And I'm actually chatting with Diane Christie tomorrow morning to get another update on the plans to get back to that aircraft and when the divers will be able to resume. And I'll be talking about all of that on the KFBK Morning News after I have that conversation with Diane.
What a story. And Christina, how did they even begin to start the record process of searching for this?
It helps to have Scott Althouse, who is the researcher and a professional researcher. But the National Archives are actually actually a great place to start. And they have volunteers there that help keep those records, that will assist family members if you call them. And they actually went to another archive, a library in Memphis, Tennessee, that also keeps Army archives and aircraft archives.
Wow.
It's such a great resource and tool. All right, I was really impressed by the Project Recover team in this story. They're phenomenal. Who are these people?
They're fantastic. Most of them are veterans and divers. They use their military skills as a way to give back, continue to give back to their country. They take on these cases. It's a nonprofit group. They do take donations, and they have wonderful stories that they tell on their website at projectrecover.com.
Well, thanks for bringing us this compelling story, and good seeing you. And obviously, we'll hear much more about this on 93.1 KFBK in the mornings to come. You can hear Cristina weekdays on News 93.1 KFBK from 5 to 9 in the morning. Cristina, thank you for being here.
Glad to be here.